Hello, you're tuning in to VNA News Daily Bulletin. Coming up next, we have your top stories.
State President Trương Tấn Sang urges courts to deserve people's confidence. Vietnam exports over 6.5 million tons of rice in 2015. Nội Bài Airport tightens custom checks before Lunar New Year festival.
State President Trương Tấn Sang has urged court officials to take actions against the degradation in political thought, morals, and lifestyle, and raise their prestige in order to deserve people's confidence. At a meeting of the Supreme People's Court in Hanoi on January 15 to put forth tasks for the sector in 2016, the state leader also asked for more efforts in building pure and strong party organizations at courts. President Sang emphasized the need for the sector to improve judgment quality and ensure verdicts are in line with law to protect justice, citizen and human rights, while performing the role of moderating dialogue and reconciliation in civil and administrative disputes. The Supreme People's Court leaders were asked to closely coordinate with all-level party committees and local authorities in guiding courts to seriously realize the party's resolutions, the 2013 Constitution, the National Assembly's laws, and other documents on judicial work. He suggested the sector expand and improve the efficiency of international cooperation, along with preparing human resources for international jurisdiction institutions, meeting the country's intensive international integration requirements. A report presented at the meeting showed that from October 1, 2014 to September 30, 2015, as many as 399,058 cases were handled, 13,702 cases higher than the figure recorded in the same period last year. The Ministry of Health convened a conference on January 15 to review the sector's activities and achievements in 2015, as well as setting out major tasks for 2016. Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng attended the event. In 2015, the health sector saw significant improvements in personnel training. Administrative reform was boosted, with electronic documents being used in every unit under the ministry. 20 public online services were announced, of which 10 are dedicated to food safety and management of medical equipment, drugs and health environment. Moreover, preventive medicine was strengthened, enabling the sector to prevent epidemics such as Ebola, H7N9, and MERS-CoV from entering Vietnam. In 2015, Vietnam was the 39th member that was recognized by the World Health Organization to meet international requirements in vaccine management, opening up new opportunities for the country to produce and export vaccines. However, the sector still exhibits shortcomings, such as the big gap in health service quality between regions, while healthcare establishments at grassroots level still see a lack of human resources. The pharmaceutical industry witnessed low development and big hospitals are still overloaded. In 2016, the sector will prioritize improving health staff's working attitude, reducing the overload in big hospitals, providing health insurance to all people, and continuing to prevent epidemics. A book exhibition was opened in Hanoi on January 15 to welcome the 12th National Party Congress and celebrate the 86th founding anniversary of the Communist Party of Vietnam. Let's take a look.
Over 800 books and documents displayed at the exhibition tell the story of the establishments and developments of the Communist Party of Vietnam, the role of the late President Ho Chi Minh in founding the party and training party leaders, as well as the party's policies over the past 11 years. Also presented at the exhibition are memoirs and documents on the life and career of party leaders, along with books featuring their talks and articles. The exhibition offers visitors a general view of the developments of the party, while nurturing the national pride among generations of Vietnamese people, particularly the youth. It will run until January 25th at the National Library of Vietnam, number 31st Trang Thi Street, Hanoi.
Deputy Prime Minister Hoàng Trung Hải has asked the coal sector to prioritize coal production for domestic use, thereby ensuring the stability of national energy reserve. During a conference of the Vietnam National Coal and Mineral Industries Group in Hanoi on January 14 to review its 2015 activities and launch tasks for 2016, Deputy Prime Minister Hai requested Vinacomin increase exploration and mining using advanced and eco-friendly technologies. The group was required to devise cost-effective business plans and solutions in response to climate change, while further promoting personnel training and improving the livelihoods of workers. In order to extract 55 million tons of coal by 2020, the sector is expected to expand 10 mines and open 40 additional pits. Vinacomin General Director Dak Thanh Hai said the group plans to earn more than 110 trillion Vietnam dong, roughly $4.8 billion, from selling 38 million tons of coal. 1.2 million tons of which is for export. Imported coal is estimated at 1.5 million tons. Last year, Vinacomin turned out 37.6 million tons of coal and sold 35.5 million tons domestically, including 1.26 million tons when shipping overseas. In 2015, it raked in more than $4.85 billion, up 3% from 2014, and contributed 12.5 trillion Vietnam dong to the state budget, or 103.4% of their target. Vietnam and Thailand have agreed to redouble collaboration efforts in the fight against illegal fishing activities. We have more on the following report.
The agreement was reached during talks between Vietnamese Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Vũ Văn Tám and Deputy Permanent Secretary of Thailand's Ministry of Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives Sakai Sribonsu. Both officials reached consensus on soon completing necessary documents towards setting up a hotline in the first quarter of 2016 to support fishing operations between two nations. They also agreed to further cooperation to prevent and control epidemic diseases in the aquaculture and capture breeding, quality management, and the development of unified standards for export of farm produce.
Vietnam exported more than 6.5 million tons of rice in 2015, raking in $2.68 billion, more on the following. According to the Vietnam Food Association, the country's rice export turnover saw a decrease of 3.94% despite a marginal increase in volume since the prices dropped. Asian countries were the main buyers, accounting for 74.5% of the exports, followed by Africa, 13.77%, and the US, 7.62%. Last year, the export of 5% broken white rice increased sharply due to high demand from Cuba, the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and China, while exports of fragrant rice also went up significantly thanks to competitive prices and meeting quality demands. Stockpiles at Vietnamese rice enterprises at the end of last year were around 400,000 tons, much lower than the average of 700,000 tons in the same period in previous years. This year, the association will focus on boosting exports to near and traditional markets in Asia, including China and Southeast Asia, and increasing exports of fragrant rice to Hong Kong and Singapore. It will strive to expand its fragrant rice market share in Africa and gradually recover the market for white rice while working to enable Vietnamese rice to penetrate new markets, especially countries that have free trade agreements with Vietnam. The Ministry of Industry and Trade forecast that the demand for goods during the traditional New Year holidays will increase from 15% to 20% over the previous years. More on the following.
This was the reason why the ministry had asked provincial departments of industry and trade to have plans in place to ensure sufficient supply of goods during the festival, in which price stabilization should be given priority. The Hanoi's Department of Industry and Trade said the total amount of essential goods for the holidays was estimated at over $1 billion. Enterprises producing confectionery, beer, soft drinks, and milk in the city have stored around $312 million worth of items. Commercial centers and supermarkets had a reservation for essential goods worth $126 million. Ho Chi Minh City will offer several new specialties from localities with stable and reasonable prices for the holidays. The total goods value in the city reserved for Tet is $754 million, up $21 million in comparison with the previous festival. Meanwhile, the total value of commodities reserved for Tet in the central city of Da Nang was up to $8.93 million, mainly for cooking oil, canned foods, and confectionery. The ministry already established 6 working groups in charge of uncovering smuggling and trade fraud cases and monitoring food hygiene, particularly much consumed goods such as beverages, cigarettes, and other drinks. They will conduct special checks on imported goods such as beverages and cigarettes to prevent the inflow of counterfeit and smuggled goods. The ministry also asked the departments to enhance checkups on food hygiene and safety.
Custom officers at the Nội Bài International Airport are strengthening inspections of passengers, luggages, and cargo from all flights arriving at the airport. This move aims to prevent the smuggling and illegal transport of goods before the Lunar New Year festival.
The inspections are especially meant for those passengers arriving from Europe and some regional countries, such as Singapore and the Republic of Korea. Experienced security forces were sent to crack down on the illegal transport of goods, money, gold, silver, and bands and high-valued goods. Passengers who use tourist visas to get in and out for many times in a month, along with aviation staff from Japan and African countries, will be monitored. Figures from the customs branch at the Nội Bài airport showed that the unit has detected roughly 200 cases of violations in this year. Of these, 24 cases were of smuggling and 2 cases were of drug trafficking.
The People's Committee of Central Da Nang City will allow cruise ships to stay overnight at Tiền Sa Port to open duty-free shops on board to serve tourists from mid-January. The decision came years after cruise ships have asked for the city's permission to provide services aboard. Accordingly, such services as duty-free shops, casinos, souvenir shops will be available from mid-January to meet the demand of tourists who stay aboard. In recent years, the number of visitors to Da Nang by sea has risen continually. It is expected that more than 110 cruise ships will dock at the Tiền Sa port this year, with some 100,000 arrivals. The decision is also hoped to encourage cruise ships to make longer stays at the city and provide better services for tourists. The New York Times has named Đà Lạt a romantic city with kaleidoscopic patchworks of flowers in the Central Highland province of Lâm Đồng as one of the world's top 52 places to visit in 2016. Đà Lạt was described by the New York Times as a former French colonial hill station with eternal spring weather and an agricultural El Dorado, growing asparagus, strawberries, coffee, artichokes, roses, and more. The U.S. daily newspaper also highlighted vibrant outdoor activities in the city, including golf, whitewater rafting, mountain biking, canyoneering, and splashing under the roaring Elephant Falls or terraced Pongo Falls. Famous for its mild climate all year round, Đà Lạt has 2 distinct seasons, rainy and sunny ones, with the rainy season lasts from May to October. Đà Lạt never has storms, which makes it ideal for hiking or leisure walks. It is also well known for such beautiful French architectures as King Bảo Đại Palace, Ngô Đình Diệm and Nguyễn Cao Kỳ Villas, and Hằng Nga Villas. And that has concluded our news bulletin. Thanks for watching. For more information, please log on to our website at www.vietnamplus.vn. We'll see you soon.